One of the biggest, I guess, business fads going around right now is setting up online quizzes for your audience to fill out information that you can use to understand their needs, while they also get something in return that's usually something of either a guide or estimates to help them better understand what they need to do to accomplish their goals. So this it may be a fad, it may be something that is becoming more of a staple in general, but if you struggle with trying to collect the data from quizzes and send the results out to people and are looking for an automated, streamlined solution, well, you've come to the right place. Let's get to it. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Erik with Solve Cycle Solutions. I help save people time by automating the work that they hate with no code and AI implemented solutions. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to quickly build quizzes inside of a free no-code tool called Fillout that can help you get more info from your audience and give them some value in return. But before I get started, I want to take a minute and invite you to a free consultation. I understand that it can be very difficult to find time to implement a lot of these solutions and have to go through troubleshooting them. And sometimes it's just easier to go on with an expert and have that process built out for you. I'm happy to give you a free 30-minute consultation to see what we can get started automating in your business. So head to the link in the description or scan the QR code that's floating around my head somewhere and see how much time you can save in just 30 minutes. So let's hop into my screen and you'll see that I've already got Fillout pulled up. And this is, again, going to be a very simple quiz that we're going to have set up. And the main thing here is that you can probably think of this more like a BuzzFeed type quiz, where if you hit a certain score or you fill out these answers, and it's going to direct you to like a results page that show here's what you are, here's where you are a fit. I've gone ahead and just set this up as a basic, how do you fit in terms of with my business? Will we get along together? And it's just kind of being a base criteria to see who works with me and who doesn't. So before we get started, you'll see that this is just a blank page. It is not connected to any databases or anything. And on the left-hand side, I've just got a bunch of different answers here or fields that can't really do anything with just yet. If you want to set up a quiz inside of Fillout, then you can hit the settings button at the top of the screen here, and you'll see on the left-hand side that there is a quiz mode. You can enable this quiz mode, and it says show correct answers after each page. So we can turn this on if we would like, and what we're going to have to do is come back in here and start mapping the answers or the grades that we want to give specific questions. So I'm going to leave this all on for now, and we're going to head back to the edit. See that on the left-hand side, we have quiz questions, which are the specific quiz-related ways that we can submit information, have that graded. So maybe I just want to click and drag a short answer here. I'm going to select a multiple choice. Let's also do a multiple select, and let's add a number question here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make this first question says, what is your name? And then we'll say this drop-down question is, what kind of work are you looking for? And I can type on the right-hand side here a couple of different options. So in this case, I'm going to say no code, automations. Maybe I'll put in some website design, and I'll probably add something like, maybe video editing. So these are the kind of things that, one thing that I'm working on now, a couple of things I've done in the past. So I'll just leave that there for now. And then this next question is, what is your budget to work on this project? And then also I want to make sure that this person is cool. So I'm going to say, what's the #1 college football team? And obviously the correct answer is Georgia Bulldogs. But if you put in something like Florida Gators, then I know that you're not going to work with me, or we're not going to work out very well. So have these questions set up, but now that we have that, I can go into settings, and I want to go back into quiz mode. And you'll see that we have an answer key. So I can click in here, and basically this is saying, what is your name? We can make this just a score for correct answer, or a couple multiple different answers. We don't really need a key here, but we do need something for what kind of work are you looking for. So this is the correct answer that I'm looking for. If you want no code automation, I'm going to say, let's just put in 10, score of 10 here. Website design is not necessarily what I'm looking for. So really, I'm just going to leave that as is. And then what's your budget to work on? Let's say, in this case, it has to be $1,000. This probably isn't going to be the best way to make this work now. I'm testing this out in real life. I probably will set up, go back here actually, and just set up a different, or another drop down basically, or a multiple choice here. So that's probably just going to be easier to get a more accurate score. So in this case, we're going to say, what's your budget? I could say $500, $1,000, $3,000, or let's just say $10,000. Wild different bunch of options, but what I'm going to do is we're going to go in back to settings. I'm going to hit quiz mode, and basically here I can add, I want to select anything, say maybe 3,000, and I can measure the score here. So I can say this is 10, this is 30, and I'm going to put this as 5, and this, I'm going to just put the score as 0. So I'm not interested in working with someone that has a budget of $500, but 1,000 I can work with, and 10,000 obviously I definitely want to work with. Of course, these scores are just very basic numbers and not that big a deal. I actually want to go back and see. So it is interesting that with this, I can only select no code automation. So I'm going to just leave that as is still. And then the last thing is this Georgia Bulldogs. I want to make this the correct answer as it should be. And I'm going to put 20 points here for that. So that just, again, verifies that this person is good. So now that we have that grading criteria, basically we can then set up a couple of different pages with logic. So we have this ending, which you'll see total score someone could make on this quiz is 61. We don't need to show that specifically. We can hide that. And basically we can make this a page confirming that if you score high enough, you do qualify to have, say, a meeting with me, or to get in touch. Thank you. You sound like a fit. And then let's say, let's fill out your email and we'll be in touch. Something like that. And from here, I can set up either a send response, and we can have this saved in our system, or we can also set up, you can set up a redirect to a booking page or something that makes sure that they pass the criteria. I could definitely set this up to the www.solvecyclesolutions.com/30-minutes. And this should, once it's live, take them to this page knowing that, okay, we're good to book. So now that that's set up, we'll have that there. And then we have a second page as well where, again, I'm going to hide the score because they don't necessarily need to see that. Thank you, but it doesn't sound like will be a fit. And you can obviously let them down a little more easy than this or do something here, but now that we have these two pages set up, which also, I apologize, I didn't bring this up earlier. If you hit the add page, you'll see that there is an option for ending. So now we have all of our pages set up. Now we need to set the conditions on where this information is going to go, because we want to make sure that when someone scores above that a certain threshold, then it goes to the booking page, and people that don't are directed to this letdown page. So if nothing is connected and you have multiple pages down at the bottom, you will see that this warning comes up that says connect this ending page with page logic. You can also click down here in the lower right for the logic button, and it's going to take you to the exact same place where you will see all of your pages that are set up on this particular instance on one grid. So it's pretty handy to look at, but you'll see that this is already connected, and this is connected to our scheduling page. So I'm just going to clarify this by saying scheduling link, and I'll label this as letdown page. So in order to connect this, I'm going to drag this plus button, and it's going to link to the letdown page. And now we see that this set condition has appeared. And if I click into this, you'll see that we have the ability to show specific outcomes that we want. So currently this is showing for this particular condition is going to the letdown page. So in this case, I'm actually going to hit on the left-hand side here where it says quiz. It's going to allow me to pull up the score out of a max score. Actually, let's just do this because I think it'll be easier. I'm just going to do score, and we're going to say that the score is less than, let's say 30, because we had about 61, so let's make it, they have to be at least 50% on this quiz to be in a meeting with me. So if I hit done here, that should mean that anytime someone doesn't score well enough, it'll direct them to the letdown page. But then if they do, it'll direct them to the scheduling link. So now that we have that, let's publish this. And I'm going to copy this link. And we're going to paste this here. So let's see how this ended up working out. So in this case, I'm just going to say, Erik Harkness, what kind of work are you working or looking for? I'm just going to say no code automation and just leave it at that. And then what's your budget? So in this case, I want to go ahead and say $10,000. I want to make sure this is directing me to being the most specific, getting me to the successful page. So obviously I'm going to pick Georgia Bulldogs, and we hit submit. Oh, that's interesting that it says the wrong answer. So that's what the settings were up here. So that'll be very funny sending that out and just showing that they put the wrong answers there. So let's go ahead and turn that off. We can play around with this later, but once I submit this, we get the answer, and it's going to redirect me to my scheduling page. So we have that all set up. So now that that's working, and we know that that automation works well, let's recopy the new page, the updated link, and let's paste this out. And let's try again. I'm going to put Mark, and then I'm going to say what kind of work am I looking for. Let's say video editing. And in this case, my budget's $500, and I'm a bum from the state of Florida. If I hit answers, I do love that the confetti came up to say, hey, this wasn't a good fit, but you see that this is how you can do some quick logic to direct people where they need to go based on the survey feedback that you're given. The other beautiful thing about this is that we can then go back into the quiz and see the results on the back end. And you'll see that I have this info here so I can see if I leave this form filled out and I'm not getting a lot of interest or a lot of meetings booked, it may be that there's people filling this out and realize that something isn't matching up for my criteria. So that might be something where I need to readjust either where I'm marketing these forms, or it may mean that the value of what I think is worthwhile is not actually matching with the demand in the market. So this is very useful if you're trying to collect initial data and as well trying to emphasize quick value to your audience to make sure that you can support them and Obviously, this is something to play around with on your own to see how you can build this. But this is just one way that you can get started with setting up quizzes inside of no code. This is just a quick overview of how to start using forms and quizzes inside of Fillout. I hope you got a ton of value out of this, but more importantly, I hope you are starting to connect the dots on how you can implement this in your own business. There are, like I said at the very beginning, a lot of different ways that people are trying to collect data and also provide immediate value to people. Quizzes are one of those popular things right now. If that's something that's going to stick around in the future, who's to say? But if you want to be able to get people interested and engaged with your business, this may be a great first step. The other benefit of using something like Fillout is that it is free to use. So play around with this. I encourage you. There's also links to Fillout. That's an affiliate link. So if you want to send a little love back to the channel, greatly appreciate that. But feel free to play around with this, and be sure to check out my next video, which is going to be talking about how to do more advanced forms inside of Smart Suite, where we'll combine elements of generating the results and sharing it with a PDF to try and enhance that customer interaction, raising your quality to the next level. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and let me know if you have any general questions about how this works. And in the meantime, this is where I stop.